Season 3 of Fire Country, we're out of the pan and into the fire, pun intended, right away as we pick up with Gabriella and Diego's wedding and what could or couldn't be actually a wedding. We know there's a helicopter crash. How hands-on does Sharon get when it comes to this?
Oh, you're gonna love seeing us all run around in high heels and dresses, taking care of people, trees, cars, fire. There was a sprint at one point from all of us, and I was like, I know I'm the oldest lady here. This could be the death of me. Even just running down the stairs in high heels to do firefighting activities felt dangerous.
And did you not have a stunt double you could arrange to take part?
An offer for those parts. I think it was just too dead on, like on
Sure.
Facebook when we started the running, and I was like, oh God, if I go down these stairs, this whole season is done.
We know that Sharon and Luke butted heads with their management style. Will we continue to see that as the helicopter crash plays out?
Yes, we do. I guess it's like most people's families. They find the most absurd things to bond over, and Luke and Sharon find literally just the silliest thing in the world to end the freeze. The freeze is coming to a great ending soon. And every time I get a line where I'm back at him, we go back and forth all year long. I keep saying like, he did give me the kidney though. Like you have to give him a little plaque. Like how angry am I going to be at this?
Well, nothing like trauma to bond a family, as they say.
Mhm.
And we see that sh we know in the past Sharon's had some health problems. Will we be focusing on any of those this season by chance?
She's going through an issue that's come up in my own personal life. So I went to the writers and why don't we bring this to Sharon? And I'm so grateful that they did. So there's about a 6 episode arc where we look at a health issue for Sharon that's not related to her kidney. Um, but it's good and it's moving and she is until she gets some resolution on it, it defines her whole life, how she interacts with her husband, how she interacts with her kid, how she behaves at work. So that's my story.
Yes, Max and her have quite a bond. I mean, Bodhi and Sharon have quite a bond together. What was it like for you and Max sort of fleshing that out for how they interact this season?
Our writers by this season were sort of off on their own. We don't, he may have a piece of it where he's talking about it in the room, but he has a whole new life. And I know that Sharon's mandate has been the same since last year of how do I parent less? Like, am I actually going to hold my child up if I'm in on every one of his decisions? I think Sharon and Bodhi have the same. I mean, it could be an asset or it could be a defect. It just is how high we turn up the volume on it. They both act from an impulsive place of here's what I want to do, where I feel like Vince is always like, here's what we need to do, and that's all we're doing. Where Sharon and Bodhi are like, no, let's jump out the window and do that thing that we're not supposed to because it'll make everything work. So I think Sharon's goal this year is to not do that as a parent.
Max has said this season is about legacy. Um, is that what's also in Sharon's mind about her son's legacy and maybe her legacy she'd like to leave? Is that why she's pushing so far to get back into the captain reins?
Yes. Um, if the first 2 seasons were redemption and this one's legacy, and if her job isn't to save her kid anymore, what is her job? Like, yes, she's always going to be a firefighter, but who does she want to be if she's not actively saving one of her children? So that is the bigger question she's going through, and therefore Vince as well. I think all 7 of us in a certain way are looking at legacy. Like my kids went to a progressive school and I love progressive education because it'll be like the theme is the ocean. So the math is about the ocean and the literature is about the ocean. The science is about the ocean. And I feel like that's what we did with Legacy this season for every one of the characters.
Well, certainly every episode is a must see because the intensity you guys bring to every episode is just next level. How do you all shake off a long day of being on set, or how do you individually?
Crying and sleeping. No. There's only crying when it's really late and really cold out. We haven't had really cold yet. There is a Thai massage place in Vancouver that we all frequent regularly. I have now found a foot massage place when the boots are too heavy. And the nature here is just so beautiful. I am a fan of an e-bike once a week because it's not physically taxing. My job is physically taxing enough, but I just have to go outside. Outside, some trees and some music in my headphones is the best remedy.
Well, this show has become a fast fan favorite. I can predict comfortably more seasons to come. What does it mean to you to have become a part of another series that people just tell you all the time it's must-see TV for them?
Oh, it's so lucky, right? You feel like to do this once in your career is a gift, but twice or three times in your career is just is wonderful. And the spin-off that's coming also sort of furthers the whole franchise. If you could walk around Los Angeles right now, it feels like after the strike and the reconfiguring of streamers, I feel like no one I know is working regularly. It's a really hard time in the industry. It'll bounce back. It just may take a few years. So the idea of being on a show and knowing you're going to get these characters really feels like a gift.
You've been a part of a number of iconic projects. What are some that still hold a big, significant part of your heart?
Um, the one that I feel like the fans are the most devoted is Roswell. I was actually on my first Dennis Leary show at the time. It was called The Job, and it was the first single camera comedy on network TV. So they didn't know what to do with it. We only did 13 episodes a year. So every time we had a hiatus, I would go on Roswell, and I did more episodes of Roswell that I was a guest on than I did of the show I was the female lead of. I think I did like 16 or 18 of them in one year. The fans of that are so devoted. Sci-fi. That's
The show
amazing.
just had a big anniversary as well.
Yeah, 25 years. It's amazing. And two of them have sort of taken these their characters and updated them of who would they be 20 years later and spoofed themselves. And they just did a web series that I went in and did a cameo on, which was great fun.
What are the other projects you've been busy working on outside of Fire Country, or does this take so much of your time physically and mentally that you haven't had a chance to do too much lately?
It does take on most of the time. The thing I like to do the most now, because we only have 2 months off, is travel. So this summer, I took my daughters to Uganda and we were going to go see the big five animals and the gorillas, but we wanted to give something back. I met a mom that runs Energy in Action, which is just helping youth, mostly teaching them how to swim because drowning was the number one cause of death amongst kids. But there's also a terrible instance of period poverty there. So I reached out to Carla Welch. She's a celebrity stylist, but she also started the Period Company, which are period panties that you can just put in the wash and keep using. So she gave me 5,000 pairs at cost, and me and the girls brought 5,000 pairs to Uganda and handed them out in boarding schools. And that was my hiatus. That was really filling the well before coming back to a 10-month shoot.
Is there a place others can go to get involved with that?
Yeah, it's energyinaction.org.
Well, what would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you continue to do on our shows?
I'm so thankful for everyone. And I'm so thankful for all the attention it brings to firefighters. We're shooting in Canada. And I feel like the whole city of Jasper burned down while we were here, and we were able to raise some money and do some great things. So I appreciate all the love, and anything they want to share with their local fire department would be amazing.